Good evening and welcome to JoyNews Prime. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Kukumleble. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Tonight, President John Dramani Mahama condemns assault on JoyNews journalist and a civilian by soldiers, declaring that as a card-bearing member of the GJA, he will not tolerate or oversee any attack on journalists. Meanwhile, the Ghana Journalists Association has issued a warning to the Ghana Police Service, Ghana Armed Forces and National Security to take action against recent brutal attacks on journalists within 7 days or face a nationwide media blackout and legal action. Also tonight, minority in Parliament walk out during the final debate on the media budget review as both sides of the House take shots at each other. Remember, we are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. My name is Faustina Safo. Please take a seat and be my guest. Thanks for choosing us. President John Dramani Mahama has tonight condemned the assault on JoyNews journalist Carlos Kaloni and another civilian by soldiers, stressing that he is a card-bearing member of the Ghana Journalists Association and will not supervise or tolerate attacks on journalists. Speaking during the swearing-in of the last batch of deputy ministers, the president announced plans to convene a meeting between the media, the GJA and security agencies to reorient security personnel to treat journalists as partners in national development. We'll hear from the president shortly, but first, the Ghana Journalists Association has given the police and the armed forces as well as the national security 7 days to act on recent assaults on journalists or face a media blackout. There's more in the following report.
JoyNews journalist Carlos Kaloni was reporting at a demolition exercise at Spintex when he was attacked by uniformed operatives. While interviewing an eyewitness, the individual was beaten. Carlos was struck twice in the neck, his equipment taken, and he was forcefully taken to a national security office at Blue Gate. He was released hours later, only after the Interior Minister intervened. At a press briefing, GJA President Adom-Otchere did not hold back, warning they may blacklist the security institutions and pursue legal actions both locally and internationally.
We demand that the Ghana Police Service and the National Security provides a public explanation for the arrest and detention of Carlos Kaloni and his cameraman. Additionally, we request the immediate release of any findings or internal reviews conducted regarding the uniform officers involved. If the Ghana Police Service fails to act decisively within the next 7 days, as already stated, the GJA, in consultation with key stakeholders, will announce a nationwide media blackout of all police activities. We will instruct our members to withhold coverage of police events, refuse participation in police press briefings, and suspend all forms of editorial engagement involving the police.
The GJA president said the attack is part of a growing trend of attacks on journalists.
The data available to us, the information and records available to us indicate that the average attack on journalists every year stands at 12. So if we have already recorded 12, even before the end of the 7th month, it is very, very scary and alarming.
Mr. Adom-Otchere says it will no longer remain silent. It has given a one-week ultimatum to the police and other security agencies.
A detailed update on the status of investigations into all reported attacks against journalists across the country within the past 7 months. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. And I want to reiterate, I want to take this again. We expect these demands to be met within 7 days from the date of this statement. Failure to do so will leave us with no option but to advise all media houses across the country and our members to boycott all police-related activities and declare them as enemies of press freedom.
The GJA also threatened civil actions against officers who assault journalists and said it will collaborate with international rights groups to track violators.
Our general resolve: legal accountability. 1. Personal lawsuits. The GJA shall, through its legal team, file several assault cases personally against officers who attack journalists. We shall not shield or allow state protection for individual misconduct. The perpetrators shall be sued in their personal capacity to bear full legal consequences. 2. Human rights petitions. We shall collaborate with human rights bodies locally and internationally to document and pursue justice for each assaulted journalist.
It further announced plans to petition the UN, ECOWAS, and the Ghana Armed Forces Council to sanction and disqualify known human rights abusers from international missions and promotions.
We can now hear from Pres.Mahama, who has condemned the assault on my colleague Carlos Coloni and a civilian by soldiers. He declared that as a card-bearing member of the GJA, he will not tolerate or oversee any attack on journalists.
Me to condemn in the strongest terms the recent incident involving the manhandling of some journalists by our security personnel. Such conduct is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. I've instructed that the incident be thoroughly investigated and that the officers involved be sanctioned accordingly. As a card-bearing member of the Ghana Journalists Association, I will not preside over a government that abuses or intimidates journalists in the lawful exercise of their duty. A free and responsible press is indispensable to our democracy, and we must all work to protect the media. I'll soon convene a meeting between the heads of the security services and the leadership of the GJA to plan a program to orient our troops to recognize the media not as enemies, but as partners in development.
Well, let's explore this further. Join me now on JoyNews Primary Security Lecturer at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Victor Doke. We appreciate your time. We've been hearing from the GJA tell us that they will no longer countenance shambolic condemnation with no action from government. They're threatening to black out all police-related events within the next 7 days if the police doesn't come out to publicly tell us exactly what they're doing in terms of all the cases regarding assaults on journalists. Do you think that is a viable demand, really?
Thank you very much, and good day to you and then the viewers. I think with regards to what GG has come out with, one, per its mandate, yes, it's supposed to seek the welfare of the members, journalists at large. So with regards to what we call accountability, it's one of the ways to ensure accountability with regards to knowing what went on and then sending your message across as an institution as powerful as that. So yes, it's one of the ways. There are so many ways that you can demand, accountability, and this is one of the ways. So per the GJA's mandate and its responsibilities, they are very right to, issue an ultimatum to demand that, investigations be done and perpetrators brought to book. So I think it's in the right course. What I think should also be added to is if the call by civil society organizations at large, because this is becoming a norm, which is not good. I think the call from civil society at large should also, come on board so that the security agencies or, personnel should understand that the media as a fourth estate is important when it comes to ensuring that not only perform their mandate, but ensuring accountability and transparency in whatever that goes on.
The GJA just told us today that so far they have reported 12 different assault on journalists cases in this year alone, 7 months alone of this year. And that's worrying. We've heard from security agencies in time past tell us that they will indeed investigate and bring perpetrators to book. But that is not happening in most of the cases. What will be the difference this time based on your analysis?
It's very difficult, as you've stated. In the past, We haven't seen any kind of severe accountability and then sanctions with regards to those who commit these, assaults on the journalists. So it is very difficult as of now because it's become like a rhetoric. But the only difference this will make is when investigations are done and the president says he's going to meet, heads of security agencies and then the GJA. Let's see that happening. And then let's see actions with regards to who are those who went there and then assaulted these citizens and then the journalists. And then we see some sanctions. And that would what enable the citizens to have some trust that the political elite is not just talking, but is acting in the interest of the welfare of the citizens at large. So I think if we don't have any tangible, cause to believe, by that I mean any evidence, investigations, sanctions, arrests, or whatever, I think we'll just be where we are and wouldn't go far. But this also has consequences per our global peace index. It affects a country's image. It doesn't speak well for the country.
But is dialogue really the option moving forward, especially when we've seen a lot of talks with no action?
Well, unfortunately, this is a dispensation we are in where there's a lot of talk without any action. And so we are just hoping that this time it will not just be talks, but backed by action. So let's see what is going to happen. After the GJA has issued a statement, the president has said he's going to meet the heads, and then the GJA, let's see sanctions, and then we can come back and then discuss and then see that yes, there has something been done, and then we can, evaluate and then make an assessment very well.
Thank you so much, Doc, for your time here on Joy News Prime.
Yeah.
Well, away from that, former board chair of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Paul Adom-Otchere, is in the custody of the Office of the Special Prosecutor after failing to meet bail conditions in a corruption probe. He has been charged alongside the Airports Company Limited Group's executive for commercial services, Morocco-Ghana, and CEO of Deves System, Adom-Otchere, over a revenue assurance contract between the airport's company and a private firm linked to the owner of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. Mr. Adom-Otchere was granted bail on condition he presents 2 landed properties registered in his name, but has told investigators he owns none in Ghana. The OSP is investigating possible procurement breaches, including a sole source contract awarded to a company not approved by the Ghana Airports Company Board. Well, let's bring you that statement from the OSP, just giving the background to what exactly this probe is all about, and it's coming up on your screens. Now, this is from the official website of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and it reads that the Office of the Special Prosecutor has interviewed and formally charged the former board chair of the Ghana Airports Company Limited, Paul Adom-Otchere, and 2 others. However, Mr. Adom-Otchere has so far been unable to meet his bail conditions. He is required to present 2 landed properties of no specific value registered in his name. However, he has informed the OSP that he does not own landed properties in Ghana. As a result, he remains in custody until the bail terms are satisfied. The 2 other persons are Morocco-Ghana, the group executive, Commercial Services Ghana Airport Company Limited, and Adom-Otchere, CEO of Deves Systems. Mr. Adom-Otchere is under investigation in connection with a revenue assurance contract between the Ghana Airports Company Limited and a private firm owned by the proprietor of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. The OSP is examining possible procurement breaches, including a sole source contract awarded to a company other than the one approved by the Ghana Airport Company Limited Board. Well, away from that, let's head to Parliament. Exactly a week ago, the minority in Parliament walked out on the media budget presentation by the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiala, to force in. 1 week later, the group again walked out as the Deputy Finance Minister concluded the debate on the presentation. Before that, both the minority and the majority leaders had taken entrenched positions on the state of the economy as they wrapped up debate for their respective sides. So it started with drama and ended with drama. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante reports.
Exactly a week since Finance Minister Dr. Kassel Atoforsen presented a media budget review to Parliament. At the time, the minority walked out and said there were pressing national issues they wanted to address, particularly the violence at the Ablekuma North rerun. Today, too, the minority have walked out as the Deputy Finance Minister concluded debate on the presentation made by his boss exactly a week ago. Before we get into that, the minority and majority leaders concluded the debate today, with the minority leader beginning with some songs. The minority leader spoke about the city, spoke about the 24-hour economy, and his general conclusion was to the effect that the NDC simply have not managed the economy as well as they want the public to believe.
The Bank of Ghana announces fairly tail exchange rates. Businesses desperate for foreign currency cannot access a single dollar from our banking system. They are forced into the shadows of black markets. Of the banking sector, the billions that went to your financiers that you couldn't take steps to protect. Today, you claim that we messed the economy. The evidence is there, and you've exposed yourself. 60-40 is what you are called on the street of Accra. 60-40. 60-40 is your new name. 60-40. Give me 60, take 40. That is your new name. But I dare ask, what are the incentives for the private sector? A situation where instead of creating jobs, you are sacking our youth from having their jobs. Then you say you are creating jobs. What foundation are you mounting this vision on?
Majority Leader Mahama Yariga fired back, insisting that some of the points that have been made by the minority were simply not true.
It takes intelligence to know that you can use exchange rate to pay your debts. It takes wizardry, economic wizardry, to know that you can use exchange rate alone to pay a lot of your debt. Why didn't Ofori Atta use exchange rate to pay the debts? What is the value of spending when you spend hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis to dig a hole in the name of building a cathedral for God? What is the value of spending? How can you commend yourselves for spending when you are spending monies, digging holes, and cathedrals were not emerging from those holes? When the minister stated that he was going to begin to put US dollars in our foreign accounts and Ghana cedis in our local currency accounts, a colleague minister, a minister of state shouted, why is he going to do that? All the time when we come, we build these funds, and the day we leave office, and people will come and squander all the funds.
Then came the time for the Deputy Finance Minister to do what is usually done at the end of these debates, to conclude and offer some final remarks. Today, the Finance Minister was not around, but his deputy was ready to step in his shoes. When he started, the minority only wanted him to say thanks to the House and end there, but he had more to say.
Mr. Speaker, may I take this opportunity to thank honorable members for an engaging debate, some made in good faith and others with obvious mischief and misrepresentations. Since our colleagues on the other side were not present to listen to the Minister for Finance at first hand, we may forgive them for the misrepresentation since they may be speaking based on hearsay. Minority
Leader was on his feet at some point to try and get the Speaker to stop the Deputy Finance Minister. But both the Speaker and the Majority Leader will have none of that. Sensing they were not going to get the Speaker to stop the Deputy Finance Minister, the minority walked out. The Deputy Finance Minister concluded his remarks by pointing out what he believed were misrepresentations on the part of the minority who engaged in debate on this matter. So exactly 1 week after the minority walked out on the media budget presentation itself, exactly 1 week later, the minority have walked out on the conclusion on the debate on the media budget review. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Away from Parliament, suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has suffered a major legal blow in an attempt to block impeachment proceedings against her. An Accra High Court has dismissed her entire judicial review application, dealing a significant setback to her challenge against the process seeking her removal. Justice Torkornoo had argued that the proceedings were unconstitutional and marred by procedural breaches, but the court ruled her case was an abuse of process. Court correspondent Kenneth Jesse has more from the High Court.
Suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo had filed the judicial review application to halt impeachment proceedings she claims are flawed and unconstitutional. Well, she argued that the Committee of Inquiry failed to serve her with proper documentation, violated natural justice, and acted beyond its legal mandate. Her application challenged both the procedure and jurisdiction of the committee set up by the President based on a petition submitted for her removal. In delivering her ruling, Justice Mafu recounted the reliefs sought by the Chief Justice and addressed the substantive legal arguments raised by both parties. The court noted that portions of the reliefs, as well as grounds, were already before the Supreme Court or had been adjudicated by it. As such, the court held that pursuing the same issues before the High Court constituted an abuse of court processes and ordered those parts struck out. The court held that the entire originating motion had no merit and dismissed it in its entirety, citing both abuse of process and lack of jurisdiction. A notable part of the ruling addressed an objection raised by the Supreme Court by the suspended Chief Justice's legal team against an affidavit filed by Reginald Odoi, who deposed to statements on behalf of the applicants. Well, the court rejected the arguments that Mr. Odoi lacked authority or consent from the other applicants to speak on their behalf. It found no record of any formal disclaimer from the applicants disowning the affidavit and thus deemed the disposition valid. Well, the court described the objection as incompetent, frivolous, and with no merit, and thereby dismissed it. Neither the applicant, that is Justice Torkornoo, nor the respondent, the Attorney General, was present in court during the ruling. The suspended Chief Justice was represented by her lead counsel, Kwabena Edukusi, and the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Sremsai, appeared on behalf of the state. From the court complex, my name is Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Staff of the Volta River Authority and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company have suspended all field operations within the Tamale metropolis and surrounding areas following yet another brutal attack on personnel yesterday. This decision was formalized through a resolution passed at an emergency staff meeting on Tuesday. Joining us on the phone is Chairman of the Senior Staff Association of VRA and NEDCO, Engineer William Kwame Asare. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. Tell us what exactly happened in this recent attack.
Thank you and good evening to your listeners. Yesterday around 6:15 thereabouts, I got a distress call from some of our staff in Tamale that some of our colleagues have been beaten to pulp and our cars seized and parts taken to the Gupena Palace. It turns out that these were staff who had gone out to resolve customer complaints, attended to a transformer issue or the other, and had closed and were returning to the office to park the cars and go to their homes to be with their families. You know Tamale very well. Where our area office is just a turn from the palace, then you are entering our office. Once they got there, some youth from the palace came and attacked them, pulled the drivers out of the driving seat onto the floor, started clubbing them with sticks and pistols, took the keys from them, and drove the keys to the palace. 3 of our vehicles were seized and our staff were beaten. As I speak to you, one of the drivers, he can't stand because they use the club to hit the knees, and he's in pain. So following that action, we immediately reported to Ghana Police Service. They gave us some cover and protection at our office. Then the guys were giving medical forms to seek medical attention at the hospital. Then this morning, staff had an emergency meeting, reviewed the situation, and said that, look, we have had enough of assault and beating from residents of Tamale. If our cars are out there working to resolve issues for them and they are beating and threatening to kill us, we are unable to go out and work. My sister, let me add that, look, these things have gone on several occasions. Anytime stakeholders will come in and say, oh, you go back to work, the police is investigating, it doesn't end anywhere. So Tamale residents are emboldened that we will beat and kill NEDCO staff, nothing will happen. And it appears that Ghanaian people and residents of Tamale are watching on until a NEDCO staff is killed. And my sister, life is only one. We cannot afford to lose one life in Tamale. For that reason, for us, we don't feel safe to go out there and work, and hence we are unable to attend to any issue out there.
And just like you have rightly said, this isn't the first time your colleague have come under attack, especially in that region. And this keeps happening. The last time we had this conversation, as part of the solutions proposed, was that some of the staff on the ground would have to go with security personnel. Why didn't that happen in this case?
So that is not practicable. It's not sustainable. Look, the kind of work we do, we provide service to the community. And our job is widespread. I'm sure the Ghana police will not have men to follow every NEDCO staff to go out and work. It's impracticable. And we are not also okay with that kind of security. Look, we want our security to be guaranteed by the very people that we serve. It cannot be the case that anytime NEDCO staff is going out, then a police officer must follow the staff. Look, we operate in several regions: Northeast, Upper West, Savannah region, some parts of Water region. Never has any NEDCO staff been assaulted except Tamale. Why? Why are we not allowed to carry out our legitimate duties? My sister, as we speak now, some staff are fleeing Tamale with their families. They are migrating to Upper East, Techiman and Sunyani for fear of their dear lives. What is their crime? As we speak now, we don't know what has made the youth beat our staff and our colleagues and seize our vehicles. We expect the Ghana Police Service, as part of their investigation, to go to the palace and ask questions. Because, my sister, nobody can just drive a VIA NEDCO car, go and park them at the palace. Palace, my sister. Palace. So those who perpetrated this barbaric act are known people. As we speak now, no arrest has been made. Not a single person has been arrested for assault. I'm very sure that you know that assault is a crime. No single arrest.
And you can identify these individuals in the community?
I'm saying that they drove the cars, our vehicles, and parked them at the Chief Palace, my sister. Is it normal, Chief Palace, my sister, that somebody can just drive and go and park a car at the Chief Palace, 3 cars belonging to NEDCO, and leave and go?
And so for you as a team, you will not return until you see some decisive action from the police?
Of course. I'm telling you that the staff say they are sick and tired of the persistent attack, and it appears that the Ghanaian people are watching on, waiting for a staff to be killed. Then we will all say, oh, how did this happen? Life is only one, and we as leaders of the staff cannot afford to lose even a single soul. So for that reason, we are unable to go out and attend to any issue.
Thank you so much for your time here on JoyNews Prime. We'll be back after this quick turn. Please stay tuned in. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. To other stories now, the confirmed parliamentary candidate for the NPP in Akwatia has appealed to party faithful to put aside differences and unite behind him in the upcoming election. Solomon Asumedu emphasized the need for unity, calling for an end to bitterness and divisiveness in order to continue the good work for the party left behind by the late MP Ernest Yaokumi. He says the party's success depends on its members working together towards a common goal.
I promise all of you that whatever Ernest pledged to do for you, I am here to fulfill it. My doors are always open. Those close to me can testify to that. I urge all of you to unite and honor the memory of the late MP. Because he went through a lot for this constituency. Support me with everything you have. He has sent me to resolve any burdens that exist among us.
Member of Parliament for Akwatia North, Samia Wuku, has urged a new patriotic party to rally behind their parliamentary candidate Solomon Kwame Asumedu in the upcoming Akwatia by-election. Speaking at Asumedu's acclamation ceremony, Samia Wuku emphasized the importance of unity in securing victory for the party. He paid tribute to the late Akwatia MP Ernest Kumi, who worked tirelessly for the constituency and did not live to see the fruits of his labor.
Pity the ghost of Ernest Kumi and unite to capture this seat again. All he wanted was the good of this constituency. But I believe that if Akwatia's star boy is no longer here, he will bring us Akwatia's King Solomon. Whatever you can do to bring glory to Ernest Kumi's name, do it.
Meanwhile, the National Democratic Congress has successfully vetted all three aspirants seeking to contest the Akwatia by-election on its ticket. All candidates were approved and will face off in the party's internal primary scheduled for Sunday, August 4th. Well, joining us now is Deputy Director of Elections and IT for the NDC, Rashid Tanko Computer. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. Now, I'm just wondering the key qualities the NDC is looking for that made them approve all these individuals.
Very well. Let me say good evening to your cherished viewers across the country and to your good self. The NDC is ready to elect its parliamentary candidate come Monday, 4th August. We had a successful vetting today, and I can tell you we're looking at competence. We're looking at those who have committed themselves to the cause of the social democracy that we are practicing as a party. That's what we're looking at, and we are looking at somebody who can represent the constituency at the highest level, that is in Parliament, and make sure that the people get the benefit of their labor. That is what we're looking at. These were some of the qualities we're looking at, and fortunately enough, all the three contestants met the qualification criteria. So we didn't have that difficulty of qualifying the three of them, and then we've given them the green light to campaign up to Monday, of which we will be there to elect. And I can assure you, any candidate we elect among the three is going to win the 2nd September primary elections that to be held by the Electoral Commission. I can assure you the NDC is going to win massively.
And
The
it's all
ground
set,
is solid.
really. Is all set really for the upcoming internal elections on the 4th of August?
Yes, all is set. In fact, we have everything. We have set ourselves in motion. Today was the hurdle we wanted to clear, and we've managed to clear the hurdle today. The rest, we've spoken, we've written to the police, we've written to the Electoral Commission to come and provide us the needed assistance to conduct the primaries come Monday. So everything is set as we speak now. We are set to go, and I'm telling you that we are battle ready for the election.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time here on JoyNews Prime. Well, away from that, a 4-year-old boy from Wasa drank Mercury thinking it was water. His parents had stored the toxic chemical used for illegal gold mining in a water bottle. The incident was shared at the 2025 National NGO Forum themed Poison Playground, highlighting the silent dangers children face in illegal mining communities. There's more in the following report.
In Wasa Eyim in the western region, a child's thirst nearly turned deadly. 4-year-old boy drank from a familiar water bottle. Only this time, it was filled with mercury, a toxic metal commonly used by illegal miners in gold extraction. His mother noticed something unusual the next morning, tiny metallic beads in his stool. Professor Anthony Kwame Enimel is a pediatrician and a member of the medical team that treated the boy.
We realized there are a lot of pellets within the child's intestine. Some were expelled, and that is actually what drew the mother's attention to send the child to a hospital. Before, when it went beyond them because the child couldn't be stabilized, they sent to our hospital for us to continue.
The incident shared at the NGO Forum 2025 held at the University of Ghana painted a grim picture of the toxic world children live in. Speaking at the event, Deputy Director of the Department of Social Welfare, Yvonne Norman, said the issue of child labor in mining would not end unless struggling families are given alternative livelihoods.
The issue is poverty, but poverty in itself, why poverty? Why can't we make a living? Because the opportunity to make that living is not well structured. Let me put it that way.
Ghana has enough laws on the books, but speakers at the forum said enforcement failed to match up the agency. Robert Dakwa is the CEO of All Africa.
We are bringing all these issues to the attention of the leadership of the country to kind of come on board and enforce their laws and ensure that children are not found in these areas.
Despite pledges by successive governments, illegal mining continues to destroy lives and land. Deputy Director of Arocha Ghana, Darabosu, is urging government to take bold steps to nip the canker in the bud.
To deal with Galamsey, our government must be more decisive and swift in its actions. I don't believe in banning small-scale mining, but if we must do it, we must set clear boundaries for our water bodies, for our forest reserves, and even for our settlement. We cannot claim as a country to want to do sustainable mining and still allow it to happen. Otherwise, every action we claim we are doing to fight Galamsey is just lip service.
Galamsey is robbing children of their health, their safety, and their future. The forum, led by All Africa, is calling on government to crack down on child exploitation, invest in alternative livelihoods, and roll out urgent community-based interventions. Emmanuel Jiveno, Joy News, University of Ghana.
The loss of lives on the Kumasi-Accra Road is unacceptable and must stop. That's according to the Municipal Chief Executive for Asante-Akim South, Mami Safwa Apia, as she mourns 16 members of the Oboju Saviour Church who perished in a gory accident in the Kumasi-Accra Road. The MC shared her frustration as the victims of the gory accident on Monday at the Draso Water Works stretch were buried. My colleague Ohim Interior joined hundreds of mourners to commiserate with the bereaved families and has come through with this report.
The Obogu Township was thrown into a state of mourning in a mass burial and funeral service for 16 members of the local branch of the Saviour Church. The accident victims, aged between 4 and 25 years, were returning from a convention when a fuel tanker truck smashed their Ford minibus at Dwaso Waterworks, a few minutes' drive away from home. Classmates of the victims, local politicians, religious groups and people from all walks of life joined the mass funeral service. Here is Samuel Brackon, who lost his 19-year-old daughter, an aspiring teacher who was awaiting admission to teacher training college.
Na wadru blaza ka so banfa so ma na ondi ho preko pesa de nya de da fom kra nya na fom kra ya we ho sem kese eni panim na awe chechirenti ya yen sa betem ho kakra bia eni so nko a andopai bla me free hospital o osimu ba no me take mu esu na mesu a but eni pa wo ho a na sa ora cheche.
Teachers who lost their students in the carnage also shared fond memories.
A person like Alale Mata, she's in, I'll call it JHS 2. That will be moving to JHS 3 next academic year. Unfortunately, we have lost Alale Mata. A person like Atibila, just last week, we went on vacation. They were all there, even the immediate past students. They all came because we hired a PA system. The whole place was lively. They were all together. Just last week, we were all happy together. We are saying goodbye to all these students. A person like Atibila and Alale, I was so close to these two students than even most of the other students. Every break time they will come, say, please buy me yogurt. Oh, you disturb too much. Oh, Alale, dear, oh,
Jennifer is a student. She is in 2A4. That is 2 General Arts A4. Very calm student, and she is also very brilliant. And when we had the information that there was an accident and for which she is part of it, in fact, we felt bad. Yes. Has there been a day that in Ghana we haven't seen any accident? And the answer is no. If it's a bad about madam, we're free. I know the hospital.
Well, it's time for Showbiz, and hopefully Becky will put some smiles on our face, because I am saddened, Becky, today because of the incident that happened to our colleague Carlos Kaloni.
Carlos here as well, and the news that just went by.
Yeah.
It's really sad, but yeah, I have to give you,
something to put a smile on my face.
Hopefully this puts a smile on your face. The embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco in Ghana hosted a reception to celebrate Throne Day and the 26th anniversary of His Majesty the King Mohammed VI of the Kingdom of Morocco. I was there and I came through with this report.
I think that this is a great way to connect and branch all of us together. So beautiful. We're getting to learn different cultures, different aspects of different cultures, meeting different people, learning and becoming one. And that's amazing. I really do love it. And I'm so glad that we are a part of it. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and thank you for helping us and showing us your beautiful culture. So we really do love it. And we pray that we continue to join and learn more.
Happy anniversary to them. And as a government official, we wish them well. You would know that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has been pushing for greater good neighborliness, and when he came into office, he's been visiting, first of all, our neighboring countries, and plans are in place to ensure that within the African continent we deepen our inter-country, relations. And so we are here to celebrate with the people of Morocco. We do have very similar cultural offerings, and if you can see the color, the music, the tradition, And as a Muslim, I relate very well to their, to their traditional war, and so I'm happy to be here.
The embassy of the Kingdom of Morocco in Ghana hosted a reception to celebrate Throne Day and the 26th anniversary of His Majesty King Mohammed VI of the Kingdom of Morocco's ascension to the throne. Ambassador Imani Wadil highlighted the historical ties between Ghana and Morocco, noting their continuous development across various sectors.
I think it's a very good opportunity to see how many friends in Ghana we have, and as you see, we have plenty of them, so we are very happy that so many friends have come to share our celebration. Today we celebrate the 26th anniversary of enthronement of our king and 26 years of progress and development, and it's a good opportunity to share it with another African country with whom we are now launching a very good strategic partnership.
Speaking of partnership, I know that we have a visa waiver now. We can travel visa-free to Morocco. I represent the creative arts industry, and so I just really want to find out, what do you think this partnership would benefit the creative arts industry? Do you think that there's something like that?
I think it's something that we should look into. And since we are just starting the partnership, I think we should meet together and see how we can find synergies on both sides to have this kind of cooperation. But I'm sure it's a very good opportunity to work on this sector.
This progress, according to the ambassador, results from deep-rooted ties and joint commitment to closer cooperation and supporting common interests. Kofi Adams, Minister for Youth and Sports, Shamima Muslim, Deputy Presidential Spokesperson, among other dignitaries, were present.
That's my favorite song.
It is?
Yeah.
You know what they're saying?
Yeah, I know. I actually know the guy. He's called Ahmed Sultan. He collaborated once with Dark Suburb. I interviewed him. He was, Sultan, So you can travel to Morocco. You do know that you can travel to Morocco visa-free, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe
we should go.
So maybe you can get a husband there. Since we're hunting for husband now.
Yes, please.
I know that you're hunting for husband. But that's
is quite the word. No. I'm not hunting.
Fosi is hunting for husband. But let me take you to the house of Daddy Lumba, because in a solemn show of solidarity, a delegation made up of representatives from Adom TV, Adom FM, and Asempa FM visited the late musician's family home to commiserate with them during this difficult time. They joined loved ones, industry colleagues, and sympathizers to honor the memory of a man whose music has shaped generations. Senior news editor in charge of special assignments, A.C. Ohene, signed the book of condolence on behalf of the group. In his words, he says that, quote, "To us, a national icon, to our maker, a son return. We take comfort in hope that someday we shall meet again in eternity." Daddy Lumba, the Adom brand, salute you. Multimedia bids you Demrifa Due. Well, so, tributes continue to pour in for the late Daddy Lumba.
And the fight really about who should organize his funeral.
Well, that's also another drama to talk about later. But also back in the U.S., the second D band led by J.W. Ambule also paid tribute to the late music legend.
Coming down here because, we lost, one of the youngest, musicians, singers back home. And
Daddy Lumba!
We just want to pay, kind of homage to him, because thank you so much, man. He's been a good contributor to our music back home. So we just want to, just a silence of 1 minute, for him. And we wish him well, on the kind of journey that he's embarked upon, and, the best for his families as well. And because he's been part of us. So since he left us,
Well, so the Sakani band led by Daddy Lumba ending the Showbiz segment here on Joy News Prime. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you, Becky, for coming. At least you put a smile on our face. Tell them where they can find more news.
All the time is myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news. We appreciate your time here. Not Carlos.
Yeah,
Pius will be here.
Pius, we miss you.
I miss Pius. Carlos. Yes, Carlos.